Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Sunday, and it's been a minute, but we are here to run through another session of Like Clockwork. I know we missed for the bowl that is a super, in which Kansas City won the sports balling game against the Eagles. That's who was playing, right? It was the Eagles.
I ate 38 chicken wings, which is my new personal record.
John ate 38 chicken wings. What is the time frame of this record?
Well, I don't have a time frame, but 10 minutes, give or take, because I stopped for like some French fries in the middle of it.
You,
I don't,
you ate
I don't, so I don't celebrate the Super Bowl. I celebrate how many chicken wings can I stuff in my face day. So
in 10 minutes. That is an appreciable amount. That's very respectable. I would not be able to do that. Not in
they
10
were
minutes.
all drummies, no flats, so that probably helped.
Yeah.
Any drummies?
I'm just thinking about
Oh,
that.
that makes it better.
I know, like I'm thinking like it
That's
takes me to
fine.
clean a bone like at least probably 60 seconds. So 38, I'm thinking like,
If I hadn't stopped for the fries, it would have been less. What can you do?
oh my gosh.
Holding you back.
Well, all right. So yeah, and with that, and the weeks before, we were getting the comic book out. A lot of people have received it already, which is amazing. I have been watching some folks receiving theirs on TikTok, with not a little bit of envy, where I have not held a book in my hands yet, but it's coming soon. Soon I will. Uh, but that's exciting times, and yeah. So we're gonna go around the horn real quick, same order as we always do. We're going to start with Sin, and what is going on with you?
Honestly, I'm just vibing. Recorded my last episode of a podcast recently where I had to cry because I killed off my favorite NPC. But other than that, I just exist. I vibe.
I see. You cry for killing off your favorite NPC, but the Freds, left and
They're
right,
still alive.
fine.
They're still alive. I just want everyone to know that Danny does not care about his NPCs and just gives them away freely to the world.
That is not what happened at all. So
You gave them to
in
me.
fact, that is so not what happened that we're going to move on to Joey.
Yeah, he gave them to the Fae, not the world.
They were
Uh,
taken by the
Joey definitely didn't eat 38 chicken wings. I'd only say about 15 throughout the night. But we ran out of wings, so I keep that as my reasoning behind that. So, but 38 is definitely a new goal. And other than that, oh, actually, this is the first time I ever have had news. I'm doing something that isn't just me vibing out doing nothing, and I'm actually starting streaming. And it's a pretty fun time. I play a lot of D&D based games, and just different RPGs. And what's the name of my stream again? I think it's like Egg-Headed Games, because people make fun of me because I'm bald and my head looks like an egg.
It
So
is eggheaded _games. Eggheaded.
big facts. You know what? I'm still
Underscore
even signed
games.
in.
You
Yep,
should you
I
should
see
drop
it.
the link in the
It's-
chat.
Yeah, it's right here.
I think bald is
Boom.
beautiful, Joey. So
I love it.
Joey,
I'm taking
I'm here
full
for
privilege
it.
of my
You have the
brand.
great head shape for it.
so D&D type games, so like actual like computer like video games or
Yeah, so like one I'm playing is I think it's called the Cursed Amulet Dungeons of Nahul Black. There's another one called Pop-Up Dungeon that I want to play. Have you played
The
that
name,
one? Yeah.
the name is Nailbeck. It's
Nailbeck?
Nailbeck.
Nailbeck. Amazing
It's based
game.
on an old
An old story by
drama by
a French author. Amazing. I did my research because I loved it so much. It's actually a very fun game.
I was curious about what is he doing playing that strange game that someone does not speak French knows about. I'm impressed.
Whoa. I speak basic French, but that's a story for another time.
Basic French for basic bitches.
Oh.
Me.
I don't know. All right. Yeah. So Eggheaded Games is pretty exciting. I checked out one of the streams and saw Joey just kind of monkeying around a little bit. So Yeah, it's a good time. And from there, we're gonna go see what Elizabeth has going on. Hello.
Hello. Um, I've been busy. I started with just this stream, and now I think I'm in between streams and recordings, podcast recordings. I think I'm up to like 10 or 11.
Whoa.
At this point, yeah, it just kind of snowballed. So tomorrow I am on ESP TT RPG for Stormwatch, and then Tuesday I am on Lucas G Variety for a Power Rangers game. And then I have a bunch of like
Tuesday.
yeah, and then opposite Tuesdays I'm recording Panabon's Power Rangers podcast. And then starting next month I'm in his streamed Power Rangers game. So I just am like living out my teenage superhero fantasies.
You're also in
right
Well of the
now.
Worlds, right?
I am also in Well of the Worlds, yeah.
You are the new Ava.
I am. I'm not as cool
So
as Ava
much-
though, so you know.
I mean, not that Ava's not cool, but I was gonna say hard disagree, but that would have sounded really aggressive toward Ava, and that's not how I meant it.
My
You
friends,
are very cool.
my friends are all cool, and I do not rate them.
Exactly. But yeah, that's just me. I just play D&D now forever.
Yeah, that is your life now. Speaking of that is your life now, John. Hello, John.
Hello. There is one thing you forgot, Isabits, that you and Rem are going to be doing coming up on a Tuesday morning at some point. Something called
Oh,
Coffee
yeah.
and Coworkers, if I remember correctly, where you just kind of chill and vibe and talk about
Hang
the
out and-
process of content creation and doing stuff.
It's
Yeah.
so chill and vibe that we like forget to talk about it because like it's just something we're gonna
Yeah.
be chilling and vibing doing whether people show up or not. So
Yeah.
It's a
pretty
great
much.
reason to like join the Discord and join us here. Join us. There are a lot of cool reasons to join us. I'm going to run through a few of my personal ones, and then I'm going to do this real quick. So on my podcast, I do as John instead of Panabon. I'm doing a romance month, and so I'm talking Edgar Wright's famous zombie comedy, Shaun of the Dead, and I'm talking about Hot Fuzz this month. So everything is gay, even the straight stuff. Come listen to my pop culture podcast. On this upcoming Friday, I'm doing Fourth Friday Rem Chats. I'm going to have Kender Mage on, and we're going to be talking about Savage Worlds and Saints and Sinners, and I'm very excited about it. Rem this month for Black History Month is celebrating an African American author by trying to support their Kickstarter. And what is it? Half of our proceeds this month from like yesterday onward are going to go to them.
yeah, so
I posted. Yeah.
not only can you support the Kickstarter, I'll get the link and drop it in the chat. And please support the Kickstarter, but because it's a nerdy Black gamer / writer like our people, but also any of the bits, subs, everything you do, we will do a larger donation toward the Kickstarter campaign to get it funded. So please interact with us. Bits get you stuff to give to the player of your choice. Subs are super helpful and we'd really appreciate it. So I'll get that link while John continues.
Yeah, and I posted about that on Facebook and on the Instagram for Rem. So if you would care to share either of those, that helps signal boost. And it looks like a really cool. I think the second one, the Dusk Orbit Blues, really caught my attention, which is sci-fi with space hillbillies and cyborgs. Big fan of that. And like Isabeth said, we have Power Rangers, which is in the Alternia archives currently, that releases on Friday mornings. This past week, the Power Rangers finally got Zords, which were super cool in a very scary episode, which is totally not based on Return to Oz. Now's a good time to catch up as the second half of the season unfolds. I'm also expanding into a live stream on Wednesdays coming in March along with 2 other shows. So I'm going to be on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, with Power Rangers Centurion, which is in a completely new place called Centurion Ridge, in which Isabeth is playing Ranger in as well, along with a few other familiar faces. Centurion Ridge is happening along with 2 new shows joining as all of our Shadowrun stuff moves on to the Shadowcasters network on YouTube. It's still happening currently. I don't know when the move is, but all of our Shadowrun stuff is moving into Shadowcasters YouTube. And so we have Hellslayer coming, which is being run by Mr. Johnson,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And
Clifton
then
Wright, as you might know him.
Clifton Wright. Yes, Clifton Wright. And then Fridays, but I don't know what Fridays this is starting. It's going to be Well of the Worlds, which is super exciting and I'm stoked about. And it's a whole bunch of new content for everyone to come and enjoy. Speaking of new content as well, Streamathon, save the date, 4/29, 4/30. We're going to start casting calls for players soon. So if you have any desire to be part of a stream, there'll be a whole bunch of GMs that don't normally GM. Isabits will be doing Blades in the Dark again. That's one of the ones I'm going to spoil, and I'm super excited for it. I'm not going to call it Lesbians in the Dark again like I did last year. It's Blades in the Dark, and I can remember that. Yeah, Streamathon, whole bunch of new streams. Rem chats are happening. Everything is Gabe and the Straight Stuff, and Power Rangers Centurion. I think I did that in like 2 minutes. I feel very good about myself.
Almost as fast as you can eat wings.
Oh, I love good wings, so good wings. Expensive.
Good wings. Hi, Alex. How was your week?
It was good, and now that Joey has stuff, I'm the only one without other cool stuff. So cool, thanks, Joey. Really appreciate that. But yeah, Chicago's nice. Had a good day. It was about 50 degrees. We also did get rid of the car bed. So Sarah, when you come, you will have a full-size bed to sleep on.
I'm just gonna get a hotel.
I'm so sorry. We kept it, but it's for a twin and it's a full-size mattress, so it won't fit. So
sad now.
Tell your kid to stop growing up.
I'm so sad.
I know. No, it's many people have stayed at my house and stayed at the car bed for all of our listeners who's like, what the heck are they talking about? And my son's toddler car bed is on the floor so kids don't roll off of it, and it's a race car bed, which is amazing, but he's too big and it's too much on the floor, and he wants mommy to lay down with him, and I'm like, I just don't fit in here, guys. I can't do this anymore. So we finally got the big boy bed.
All right. Well.
Also, happy belated, Alex.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I also turned a year older. Whatever.
Got lots of stuff going on, Alex. Birthday, Super Bowl, new bed.
I mean, they are things. Thank you for making me feel better.
I got you.
Yes. Things happen. All right. Well, anyone who's paying attention will notice that Thomas is joining us tonight. Hello, Thomas.
Hello.
What are you doing here, and where else can we see what you're up to?
I'm here to beat up Perunyia. That's about it. And maybe or other shenanigans after. I don't know. That's your call. Other than that, I do a few things here at REM, but mostly right now in the back. I should be somewhere in the Streamathon, either as tech or going back to Blades in the Dark. That was very fun. Looking forward to that. And yeah, other than that, you can find my work on beer cans pretty much everywhere in Eastern Canada and US now. Not my artwork, I just do the color management.
Wait, which ones? I need to know more.
So many.
I don't think we have time for me to list the hundreds and hundreds of clients my day job has, but
if you ever see the craft beers that have cats looking like they're on an acid trip, he does those.
Oh, that's awesome! That's so cool. I love that.
I think that brewery is from Quebec, so I'm not sure it gets down to Chicago.
Oh.
But we do have a plant in Chicago, and we're doing stuff there. So
see, look at it. I'll just have to come to Canada just for the beer. I mean, cool. Maybe
well, let's set a date.
All right. Well, last but certainly not least, Sarah, what is going on with you?
Land of the Kickstarters. So on Tuesday, so day after tomorrow, Subversion launches on Kickstarter. So this is, for those who know Opti, his long-awaited TTRPG. It's cyberpunk fantasy. But it's like, you know how cyberpunk is usually like a dystopian thing? I mean, it's still dystopian, but instead of like trying to tear down all the evil corporations and stuff, it's more about building up your community and the people around you. So really excited for that. It's going to be a big one. We've got 1,200 project followers already. So really excited for that to launch and see how it goes. Then in March, we're going to be involved in some way with the Battletech Kickstarter for Mercenaries. We're making a few videos for them right now, but we're probably going to be like communication or something like that during, Then we've got on March 28th, we are launching Exit Vector, which is an aerial combat minis game that is system agnostic, but there will also, so the kind you can get on the Kickstarter is system agnostic, but it will also be on the new product from Catalyst for Hollow Streets, which is kind of like a creative gaming license thing, and it will be skinned for Shadowrun through Hollow Streets. What else? There is Well of the Worlds will be launching April 4th. And that is a TTRPG by Mobius Worlds Publishing. That is an isekai portal fantasy. So basically your character or you or whoever goes into a well and comes out in a different world, and you now have access to powers that you've never had before. So that will be a fun one. There's just so much happening with Kickstarters, and it's wonderful. We've also got lots happening with audiobooks. The Streamathon, like John said, is happening. There's the we want to do fundraisers each month. So this month for Black History Month, I posted the link in the chat, and we talked about that already. But yeah, there's a ton happening, and it's pretty exciting stuff. Danny and I need to have another conversation about what's next for Coddlesworth. And we're also, gosh, I should say this. We're casting, so come play with us. If you want to play some TTRPGs and live stream with us, Streamathon is a great way to do a one-shot if you just want a one and done and have the experience. But if you find out that you're super addicted to it, we have, like John said, we have Morkborg, Hellslayer's setting.
Hellslayer is currently actively casting. Max hasn't done any promo for it yet, but they're still looking for people for Hellslayer.
Is Power Rangers cast?
I could use some backup Rangers
Power
in case
Rangers?
things happen.
We've got Well of the Worlds, I think, is now cast, but yeah, so we're good there. We have some big changes to Shadowrun coming up. So for Emerald Glitch, which is our Gen Con TV show, Bob will not be GMing come April. It will have been streaming for a year, so we're going to take that time to kind of still have Emerald Glitch, but change up the cast and kind of story, kind of have a new arc starting. So we're looking for a GM for that. We will have some new player needs for that. And then we've also got Shadowrun 5th edition missions. We've been doing the Chicago arc for like 3 years, and that we're on the last season of Chicago, and that should be wrapping by summer. So I think I've just gotten, I have it in a Discord message that I haven't opened yet, but Mr. Johnson is going to be the new GM for the next Shadowrun 5th edition adventure. We're hoping to kind of keep it on the missions, but we don't know where we're going to go next. If we're going to go back to some previous editions and transpose them for 5th edition, or if we're going to do some of the CMPs, if we're going to go to Hong Kong, we don't know yet. So, or Hong Kong, Neo Tokyo. My projects are getting all flipped around in my head. So, lots of really cool stuff happening. So I will also copy our Discord into the chat, because that's where you can join our community and see all the stuff we've got going on and get involved in it. I also need a new Twitch producer, so that's something that's coming up. So if you're interested in like managing a channel and like getting say on what shows come up next and making sure nothing breaks, hit us up.
Boop a doop. Yeah, so before we get into it, I just want to say that I have read Dustin Munden's Tavern. I actually did a TikTok review on that book. It was good. So, you know, I'm excited to read. I'm excited to read the next book in that series, which is The Duke's Brand, which I have and I'm ready to read, but have other projects that I've been kind of reading ahead of that. This is my year to get back into reading by reading all like independent books and not books from like big publishing houses. But yeah, so that said, we are going to get into this session because, oh, yeah, it's about that time. Welcome, welcome. When we last left our friends in the city of Castanede, the, for all intents and purposes, capital of Ireland, they were preparing for the fourth day of Perunya's Battle of the Brawn fight tournament that she was involved in. And they had learned that today's battle for the winner's bracket was not going to take place in any of the normal sort of gymnasiums that sponsor the various fighters from the city or host them, but rather at a special location. And all further fights were going to be held in these special locations. And so the group slowly started making their way to the Heavenly Gardens, which are in Castanede. Prior to that, Shayloon went to visit with Nugatsa Sanato, just to check in and to ask a few questions. The big takeaway out of all of that going forward is that she procured for the group a vehicle of some sort. Um, the exact specifications to be determined.
I forgot about that. We got a car, guys.
Yes. So they will have a vehicle to kind of get around in certain areas, and that might be helpful for them. But and then Nugatsa did mention that he was going to observe the fight at the Heavenly Gardens in Silver Yards, as there was a meeting with the CEO of the Danon Corporation Heavenly Sequence. And so it did seem that everyone was making their way to this location. And so that's where we will pick up our story, our session today, at the garden. It's not hard to find the gardens. The Heavenly Gardens are they were sort of dedicated as a testament to the friendships between Danon and Ireland. Danon is the continent from Ireland, I suppose it's more to the west, but the sort of far east lands. And particularly the an alliance or agreement between the Danon Corporation Heavenly Sequence Engines and the city of Castanede and the
Ooh, suspenseful.
Did Danny freeze, or is that a real hard brain fart?
He's still thinking.
It'd be a painful one.
This is the point of the story where we're all going to get concessions while we're at the Heavenly Gardens.
Oh, poor Danny.
Oh no, we got kicked out of the fantasy
It
ground
always-
game
it
too.
always
all
happens.
right. He crashed hard then. All right, let's see what's going on here. Luckily, our cameras are all temporarily in place. You know, hanging out. Oh, hey, Chuz, good to see you. I didn't know you were the Noodletainment Network. I guess I should have from when you've made posts in the streams, but I didn't make that connection. And thank you. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for joining us to Mr. Markham, who gave Flint an inspiration after following. So this is me filling a lot of space. How am I doing, guys?
I'm curious.
You're killing
Perunyia,
it.
How are you getting ready for this fight, Perunyia? Because this is like your first like big matchup, so to speak, in like a new location.
Yeah, so I mean, Perunyia like doesn't have a huge case of the nerves the way like maybe a typical person like would. She like thrives on an audience, right? And so like the bigger the audience, the more excited technically she will be. And I think also what's fun about her is that she's not just there to win. In Prunya's mind, as long as it's a good fight, like she's happy at the end of the day. She knows she's never gonna win them all, right? And especially as her like early days taught her, like there'll be plenty that you lose too. So like now she feels a little bit more pressure that Shaylin was like, oh, we need money to fund spells.
Shaylin needs money.
To fund our
We
addiction to
need
new
money.
spells.
I don't know if there was a we in that statement. I'm pretty sure it was I need money. You're getting a
But
car, but we don't know
otherwise,
why.
My spells help keep all of you alive.
It's an
She did
us
get
Lex
spell.
would beg
some
to
pretty
differ
cool
that.
spells.
No. Lex would beg to differ.
I
Thank
mean-
you.
Unless you lie to me, and then my spells help to kill you all instead. Don't
What a journey
lie.
we've been on. You went from being sad about killing the dude in the tomb, and now you're like laughing about it. What a journey we've been on.
Yeah,
It's
you
so
know.
good.
Well, I'm not laughing in Shayloon character, so
Yeah, that's more of a Sarah thing right there.
yeah. Sarah doesn't care. Shayloon had a hard time, but she's moving past it because she's realizing more and more that she likes being alive, more than she cares that Uzenda was alive. And
You know,
Rizosi.
you got to put everything in perspective, right?
But
But that's what
there's-
it takes.
Yeah, well, it's still a very black and white, like good versus evil kind of thing that's been happening. So, like, evil people, she doesn't mind shooting out of airships in the sky. So that's just how it goes, you know.
I mean, I think that's a fair point. Now, the guard that Panabon killed in Perunya's first episode.
Oh yeah, look.
I don't know how
it's-
bad that guy was, but
I mean, it's a disagreement. It's a technicality. You know, they're guarding somewhere. I need to be. You know, that's just an employment risk.
I mean, have you heard
That's
of
all it
rope?
is.
As
Well, rope doesn't have much finesse as a
Panabon
dagger.
is the gray evil of good versus evil that Shayloon still doesn't know what to do with.
No. That's
I
fair.
like to think I'm the zesty chili cheese Fritos of the Caiaphas world.
That would not be far off the mark. So, I would ask where I was, but I know exactly where I was because the computer, it's not like it hangs up or anything. It's just like, you know what? I'm not on anymore.
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know. It's random. It does it from time to time. It just shuts off. I've had nothing. If you're in the market for a new computer, do not get the Hewlett Packard. Just don't get it. It's literally garbage.
You're still two spinning boxes though, Danny. So I mean, you're a very handsome spinning two boxes. I don't want you to think that I'm criticizing, but
How about this?
Oh,
that's better. Yes.
Oh, yes.
I thought you said, "How about this?" and then you left the call for a second. And I was like, "Oh no!"
He did it. No more boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah. So arriving to the gardens, such as they are, these gardens have been landscaped to create a sense of wandering in nature, despite being centered in one of the most technologically advanced cities in the world. They've made use of rocks and water fixtures, the exacting placement of trees and shrubs to craft an experience for everybody who visits. There are winding paths of cobblestone, bridges, small footbridges over burbling streams, and various statues that celebrate Jean and Daewoo culture, designed into contemplative spaces, emphasizing balance and harmony. There's more than a few waterfalls, and the largest of these is near the main building of the Heavenly Sequence Engine's compound that overlooks. And it falls into a pool full of brightly colored fish. And there are a lot of people here as folks are gathering to watch the two fights that are going to take place here in the garden, in this sort of main area. Perunyia, as you arrive with entourage, you're kind of looking around, and there are definitely there are quite a few people here, a few faces that you're starting to sort of recognize from the various fights that you've been present at. And yeah, what is your immediate sort of action upon entering?
Do we have Phoebe with us already?
Phoebe is with you. She did catch up with you and is along for this for your journey there. Yes.
So I would probably turn to her and say, since this isn't a gym, I'm not exactly sure where I should go to warm up.
Oh, wow. So the gardens are pretty big. So if you want, you could probably just go like down one of the paths a little way. Just kind of keep track of like which direction you turn, because it could be a little bit overwhelming on like trying to get back if you don't keep track of that. I mean, it's not that you get lost. Eventually you'll come back around to here, but like if you have to go forward the whole way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't really want to forfeit the match because I couldn't get back to it. That doesn't seem like a great option.
I mean, it's just, depending on how far you want to get for some for some privacy. I mean, you could probably just go
I don't need privacy at all.
Well, I mean, you could just warm up like right over there. And she just points to like a spot where there's the least amount of people, kind of hanging around.
I look at the spot. It's probably right in the middle of where people are walking, or is it near like the stands?
There's no stands per se. Anyone who is of any sort of import to watch the fights, they're probably watching from any one of the levels of the building that is overlooking from, because you can see like there's glass windows to oversee the garden from every one of the like 5 floors of this building. So everyone else who's watching is going to be watching from the ground level, and it appears that the ring is not a ring it's not like tied around so that there are ropes, enclosing the ring. There's just 4 small sort of obelisks that are sitting at a corner of an area that is mostly sand, and that is, you're pretty sure that's where you're going to be doing the fighting.
Okay, so then I would turn around to my managers and say, okay, guys, can we have each of you go on the 4 like corners of me, and then you can tell people passing by who I am. And remember, it's Zane the Rock Johnson. Okay, remember that, okay? And then I'm gonna work out and I want the crowd to get riled up. They know who I am. And And so I will start then my calisthenics, which and comprised of multiple very cool looking push-ups, especially the ones where you clap or you put up a leg. All of the fun looking ones that I do specifically to warm up for looks.
I still say mountain goat would have been better.
I feel like the image that I have in my head of what you described is probably not.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Everything's fine.
So
Everything
let's
is
hear a
fine.
little more about those push-ups.
It's because they're just so amazing that he's rendered speechless, guys.
Which of the fun push-ups are you doing precisely? In 10 words or more.
I mean, like, the great part about push-ups is that there's so many to choose from. And once you're sick of the push-up variety, then you throw in some jumping jacks there. Perunya's not doesn't have high enough dex to do some flips, but she can do some pretty mean headstands that are also a type of push-up. So that also happens. I wonder if we do a straight and roll for that one.
I have a push-up question.
Uh-huh.
So Perunyia is a dragonborn. Can the tail bear enough weight that like you could use like the tail to help with the push-ups? Like, could you do like a push-up with tail and hands as opposed to like tail and legs?
Does Perunyia
That's a
have a
great
tail?
question. But also,
I can't remember if Perunyia has a tail or not.
Yeah, that does not appear in my artwork, so I would go with probably not. But as somebody speaking with a human size large rear end, it does make it more difficult, not easier, to do push-ups with that extra weight back there.
I love you, Alex.
That's just the truth.
Hi, Danny. How you doing, buddy?
Well, that's the first time it's done it like twice in a row. So I don't know what that means. Because what I presume is that there's some sort of something running while I'm running everything, and it's just like, I don't like where everything's running, and it closes. And then when it comes back, I only open up the things that I was kind of doing. And I've assumed that meant that like, it's fine because I'm not like, I don't know.
If it helps, if it happens a third time, we'll just say, that Perunyia wins all the fights, and Flumgesu is dead, and we all live happily ever after.
And we win.
And we all get our own cars. We don't even have to share anymore.
All right, maybe if Flint gets a car, he could take a dive. But...
Hey, you do not need a dive. All right, I'm gonna win this fair and square. Anyway, I described in great detail my push-ups, Danny.
Excellent. Well, I still in my head am picturing this funny little monkey push-up that you're doing, so that's fine. All right. Well, geez. As this is going on, Flint, you arrive. I don't know, what do you have an entourage?
No.
You do have at least a host that is involved with the that's involved with the tournament itself that has kind of been making sure that you go to the right places at the right times.
Okay.
And your host is Clement, and Clement's been helpful. I don't know if you've been spending any time with Clement outside of just when Clement arrives to kind of take you to where you need to be.
Yeah, probably. I mean, how knowledgeable is he about this specific city?
He's local, so he's
Oh yeah, that's right.
fairly
You guys
knowledgeable.
travel around some. So yeah, you would probably like yeah, show him. Well, if the other guy is local, yeah, you would probably ask him about like places that he doesn't personally know about. So we can hang out and have some drinks, see some interesting thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, uh you've been spending time with Clement while you've been in the city, and he's pretty excited to get there. He's been one of the things he's been talking about is this weird dragonborn contender from Edivund that was only supposed to have one fighter, but now they have two, like this last second sign up. This Zane Johnson that has like some stage name or whatever, The Rock or what have you. Um, and they've been
He
doing
doesn't
pretty good.
say anything, but he has a suspicion. Let's say.
Yeah, and then the other discussions are kind of centered around uh, people believe is going to be the winner again this year, and that is um, Lady Vivian Tarhal. Pardon me, and it's you're pretty stoked to know that on this particular day, the two winners brackets fights are both taking place here, and so you're going to get an opportunity to see that occur as well. Um,
Oh, thanks.
and as you arrive, go
Does it
ahead.
happen before or after my scheduled fight?
Your fight happens first,
Okay.
and then Vivian's happens second. So, um, and as you arrive, you do notice that there is a little bit of a crowd gathered over on one side as people are kind of watching some sort of spectacle uh, going on there at this section of the gardens. Um, but other than that, just a lot of people milling about.
He's gonna turn to Knema and say, is there a specific spot where I should put my things down, where I'm expected to be, like,
Yeah, so we can put your things over. Uh, well, there's kind of by the entrance to the building. There is, I think that's the desk where yeah, we can set our stuff down over there, and they'll make sure nobody messes with any of it. Um, but yeah, this is pretty neat. I haven't been
yeah,
to the garden in a while.
so it's an interesting area, I'd say. He looks around. All right, so he drops like the brunt of his bigger things that he's not gonna need for the fight or for his warm up. Takes out of his bag is like this kind of not small, well, not too big, like brass sphere, and he throws it in the air, and legs and wings pop out, and some arms, and he has a little artificer homunculus with him. He has it carries like pads and stuff, and then things that he can use for his warm up. And he makes his way toward the ring, see what's going on there, and where he can set up to do his own little routine.
Yeah, certainly. As you head in that direction, you can kind of see through some of the breaks in the crowd a few familiar faces.
Zane the Rock Johnson here at the mountaintop. Vote for Zane. Zane to win.
Yeah, that gathers a little bit of a laugh. Someone yells out, "Vote! They'll vote with their fists in the ring.
Well, so that gets a good laugh from him, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." I mean, seeing the familiar face, and he looks around to see who else he can spot as he's lighting up a cigar and walking towards the crowd on the side of the ring, basically.
Yeah, and it doesn't take too long for you to kind of push through, and you see Perunyia, the Dragonborn, doing a variety of calisthenics.
Well,
Another
he's gonna
exercise.
cheer her on. He's gonna clap and go like, "Yeah, that's how many? You can do 10 more. Come on."
I think I hear a familiar voice. And look up and catch a good friend of ours and the campaign. And I will jump up, run over Flint. It is you.
Yes,
And
it is. And I knew that name was too dumb to be something else that you guys made up.
that is my I mean the rock is maybe additive, but Zane is definitely my name. Feel like you should remember that from our time together. Yes? And she like taps him on the back and like shakes his hand a little too hard with a
He
well-meaning look.
takes her hands back and he's like, "Yes, of course, Zane.
Just
Well,
just
how have you
for
been?"
just for the hell of it, I'm gonna have both of you roll a deception check.
No.
I mean,
What
I'm not
God?
really trying to deceive Flint. I'm just trying to. Oh,
Yeah, no.
the audience. Oh, okay. This is.
Let me get
Oh,
back in
oh.
the server.
I was trying so hard to distract everyone, but
That's a little rough as a.
Flint didn't say any other name, by the way.
I
No,
Let
yeah.
me
can't
know by
leave
this name being so dumb. It was.
in the rock mountaintop is right there.
It's just right there.
Everyone's
Right
got a
there.
stage name, though, you know?
Well, as we're waiting for that roll to come up,
I roll was a 9.
yes. So you're not going to see what the bonuses to this die I'm rolling are, but if it's really low, you could feel better about life. It wasn't really low.
That's not. That's not.
Yeah, so
At least this time I outed myself.
they're over there saying hello, the rest of you.
But yeah, do the other come over? I'm Flint is mostly talking to Perunia and yeah, asking her about what's happening and where they've been, if everybody's okay. Where's the
Yeah,
where's the
and
doctor?
since we're very much still in public, I say all of our mutual friends are doing well, and our doctor friend has made a trip back over airship, and he's going to be helping out one of our other friends with some family business, and yeah, super looking forward to this rematch since it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. I really hope I was right when I read the name, but you know, you never know.
Well, I don't know how many purple dragonborns you are also, run around with.
That is true. So well, that's great. I see that you warmed up the crowd already. That's good. I'm not the best at that kind of stuff. So
I don't know. That's a pretty cool contraption you've got over there.
oh yeah, it holds my pads, and I get to train with him. I can't punch too hard though, because if I do, I'm gonna break it.
Oh, then I could probably never use it.
Yeah, probably not.
All
especially
right.
in a full force. Anyway,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, say hi to the others that are in and around. I don't see everybody. But we should catch up after the fight. We should watch the other one together after like eating and drinking.
Done. It's a date.
Done.
All right. As this is going on, Shayloon, you have managed to find your way to the garden. I think. Oh, okay.
Deception roll was so low that she just blacked out from exhaustion from all the spell casting.
Yeah, I was like, what
We
happened to
we had to
Sarah?
stop and get Shayloon food because it's something that they don't remember to do when there's
Low
books
blood
involved.
sugar happened. Yep. That's what
Exactly.
it was.
So we
That's
got
your
some.
job now, Rogelio.
That's what we were doing. We were looking for stadium food, garden food, and then we were gonna proceed to the thing because I had to make sure I was there because it's my turn to manage.
Yep, indeed. But that said, is Sarah there?
No, no. She covered her camera and
She had to step away for a second.
Okay.
I have a question about the gardens.
Okay.
Is the food here also heavenly?
The gardens are not set up for, like, they don't have like a food vendor or anything like that.
Oh, we're
it
gonna be
is-
looking for so long.
The garden is the garden. That said, before you enter the gardens outside, there are like street food vendors and stuff.
I mean,
Um,
Danny did say there were fish, so technically, there is food.
Oh.
Is it like
Uh,
an open garden or is it a building, like an enclosed garden?
It's not under a roof, but there is there's wall or fencing, and it just changes depending on what's more aesthetic in certain areas that kind of go around the entirety of the garden. So there are only certain entry and exit points for the garden, and they are there is normally a small fee that folks would pay to enter the garden that's supposed to go towards the maintenance of the garden. But yeah, well, given all of that, everybody does look pretty excited for the fight to begin. And then Phoebe kind of taps you on the shoulder, Perunyia, and says, "Oh, look over there," and points towards the main gate entering into the garden. That is Vivian Tarl, Lady Vivian. And you see a woman of medium stature. She looks solid without looking large. So she's slightly broad-shouldered. Um, she is probably you'd place her in middle age, maybe like upper 30s, 40s.
Wait, that's
Her-
middle age now? Sorry. Tangent.
I feel like it. I feel like it's getting there. Yeah, I feel old.
Okay.
Remember, I'm older than you, so if you think I'm putting anybody down for being old, like I'm the one. Yeah, I think 40s, right? It's 40s. That's about when you're getting into middle age? 40s and 50s?
Oh, 50s. 50s.
50s?
Yeah.
My back hurt at
50s?
25, so do what you want with that information.
I don't know. I'm early 40s and I kind of feel old half the time. So
Like I always thought of middle age as like starting in your 40s, really. So that's what I thought. But maybe not. Maybe that's just the end of like before your middle age. But I feel like I ended that. Anyhow,
The end of before the middle.
like
the 40s.
29 is the end of before you're 30, right? Like that kind of thing. In any case, yeah, you put her in her 40s. Her hair is pulled back in a small bun, which leads you to believe that it's not very long. And she walks with a military bearing, wearing a long coat over a very tailored suit with several, as far as you can see, multiple pieces involved. Her chins have metal guards over them, and she has highly polished boots. And she just kind of steps in behind a few folks and just kind of surveys everything. Somebody approaches, they speak for several moments, and then she is led towards the building uh, where where they open the door and she goes.
If we lose Danny again.
I think we lost Danny again.
No, she's
It's
just very silent.
Well, I would be turning
Everything's-
towards Flint to say, "Oh, it looks like we might have a special audience member there." I'm sure she's eager to figure out our fighting styles for whichever of us advances.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's smart. So see how we fight, and whomever of us two makes it through, should have a better idea. If she makes it through, although that's what popular opinion seems to point towards.
She does look tough.
Yeah, pretty tough.
I also wonder. I mean, obviously, she must have been a part of this scene for a while, but I wonder what her fighting record is. I bet Phoebe would know. I think she's like starting kind of like, I don't know, a journal about sports and like is going to write about
Oh,
sports events.
that's a pretty good idea. I mean, I've been traveling around doing these fights, but I can't say that I remember everybody's stats. So having someone report on that would be actually pretty cool.
Kind of convenient, right? Of course,
Yeah,
with all of my uh places that I've been, that that might actually be inconvenient for me personally.
yeah. I mean, maybe you should take care of your other endeavors uh, before trying to keep on going in professional, because having to you know um, rebrand, let's say, every few weeks or months is not going to do any good for your stats.
No, no, I don't think so. Though maybe later tonight, I will fill you in on this very interesting journey to get here.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be nice. I'm afraid my journey was pretty boring. A few other well, I mean, maybe not for you, a few other fights and stuff like that, but nothing out of the sport, let's say.
Did you take an airship?
Yeah,
I still haven't been on an airship. I'd really want to
that's all
go
right.
on one. They look pretty cool.
That they do.
All right, so yes, I have decided that the culprit is PowerPoint.
PowerPoint is usually the problem,
It's
in my
always
opinion. Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, let's hope you're right.
yeah. I just won't open PowerPoint again.
There you go.
Yeah, stupid.
Anyway, Flint and I were discussing the member of the audience who's going to be taking notes on us, and otherwise discussing how we got here.
Yes. So um, if you ask Phoebe, um, Phoebe mentions that Vivian uh, has not lost an official fight since she started like fighting for show,
Damn.
which has only been in the last couple of years, because previously she was just involved with like military and just doing stuff, and it was like she says, well, so from what I hear, it was like a PR thing where they said, hey, you should fight in the Battle of LeBron, and then you could show everybody how good like our fighting style is. And it wasn't something she really was into doing, but they kind of made her do it, and so now she does it, and she's kind of like a champion because I guess that style is really good. But I hear it's just really a mishmash of like what works in a bunch of styles. So um, that kind of makes sense, I guess. Anyway, and right about then, a couple of officials for the tournament enter into the ring area, and a sort of hush falls over everyone as they announce the first fight. And Phoebe looks to you and says, "Well, good luck. Uh, I mean, no offense, Mister. I hope she wins.
Well,
Anyway,
that's
good luck.
fair.
And we'll just be right over here." And she walks away, leaving the two of you to head to the ring. And I am going to cut there for a break. I don't know if we're going to actually cut to a break.
Well, if Sarah's not at her computer, I
don't.
We could cut to a feeling. I hear that's a thing people do now. The song, right?
Cut to a feeling?
I believe so.
Yeah, keep buying time. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. We'll buy. We'll purchase some time.
Did so is did Lady Helen Uskun show up to the fight at all?
No, you have not seen Lady Uskun.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah, she
That's
wasn't at
worrying.
I think the last one either. It seemed like maybe she's already skipped town.
Didn't she skip her last fight too?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hoping she's just skipped town. Is there any way, assuming I can get back in Fantasy Grounds, like I can scan the crowd for a familiar face or a ne'er-do-well of some kind while we're doing time things?
Why, yes, you can absolutely do so, and give us a perception check once Fantasy Grounds is back up. But yeah, so I don't normally have. So it's weird because it hasn't dropped like that in a while, and I opened up PowerPoint tonight before we started.
I will take us on break.
Okay.
Right. So see you in 10 minutes, everybody.
Okay. And we are back. Hopefully, I've determined the culprit behind my resets today, because that was 3 in a row in rapid succession. I think it's PowerPoint, so I just won't open PowerPoint anymore, ever again, for the rest of eternity. But yeah, so when we left off, they were preparing for the fight finally, and right about now, Shayloon and Rogelio have arrived, having found food and eaten lunch. You now are approaching the garden itself. As you are arriving, you can see several people, just kind of a crowd. They're kind of gathering around this open area in the center of this sort of pseudo courtyard. There are 4 like obelisks on each corner of it. And as you come in, you can't help but kind of look up at the building that is overlooking the courtyard. And you see on the second level, there's this big, large, like floor to ceiling glass. And there are several people just kind of standing there overlooking the fight. And that seems normal enough. But on the 4th floor, you see another group of individuals. And 2 things draw your attention to this. The first is that Nugasa Senato is among them. He is up there looking down. You can see Callus is there with him, along with a few other people. But also there is a very distinguishable person in that group. You cannot make out whether it is a man or a woman from this point. And as you're looking, you're pretty sure they're wearing a mask. They have a very ornate sort of gown / robe that they're wearing, a white mask with blue sort of blue paint, like here and about, like on the lips, and maybe the eyes are really dark blue. The gown is blue. There is They have long, sort of curling blue hair, and they have some sort of headpiece that kind of comes down and is kind of sort of shiny, and they're kind of centered in that group, just kind of watching down um, over everything.
And that's me and Rohelia that see this?
You see that as you're coming in. Anyone else who kind of looks up at this point will also notice. And yeah, but that's what you see as you come in.
I cannot remember from the last time we played whether or not I said I would talk to Nagatsa at the fight, so I will go up and say hello to Nagatsa in case I said something.
Yeah, so they are way up on the 4th floor of this building. And you don't see easily how to get there from the garden.
That's fair. So I'll just cast message and say, hello, good to see you.
Oh. Good, you're here. Stick around after the proceedings. And that's
yes,
it.
Sir. All right.
Sin, what has Lex been kind of preoccupied with during all of this?
Lex was doing exactly what Zane asked. Sorry. And has been promoting her on a different corner from Panabon.
Okay. As you're doing all of this, you also can't help but to notice this small group of people at the top level. And as you notice them, you can't help but to remember a moment in your recent history. Prior to crossing into the world from the Shadow Fae, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, a time when you were still somewhat loosely connected to the community of changelings that you most closely associated yourself with. And you remember for the first time ever seeing a group of people that you would identify with this sort of style of dress that this masked person has. And it was intriguing then, as the individuals were very obviously masked and fully garbed, but they weren't of a group that you had ever seen before in your entire life, nor did your community have any real record of them. So, by the way, everybody, that is not AI generated art. That is photo bashed art made from several images that are licensed, just in case. I feel a certain way about AI art and showing it off on streams. But yes, so it brings to mind that encounter. Mostly notable because they were people that seemed very distinct, seemed like a people, but weren't unknown people. They weren't someone that you or people you knew had ever run across in the Shadow Fae, which is rare. Like, there are lots of groups in the Shadow Fae, but generally you know who they are or where they are, how to avoid certain folks. And so seeing this kind of brings that memory back, and it's a little bit jarring.
Was it a positive interaction I had? We had run into them previously.
So it wasn't negative. there wasn't. It did not. It was unsettling, um, mostly because just the nature of changelings that they travel a lot throughout the Shadow Fae and find themselves working with various groups for various reasons, and for as many reasons as people have maybe to distrust a changeling, uh, are as many reasons as others have uh, to employ changelings, right? So changelings are very traveled. They have seen, like, as a community, have seen most of the things that the Shadow Fae has to show. There may be some, there's always hidden mysteries, but this like contingent of people that came, they seemed really mysterious. They seemed really interested in the community, and and it was off-putting. It was off-putting because changelings know when others have like ulterior motives. Changelings know it's just something like within them to kind of read into other people, that sort of insight into others, to see if people are being being on the nose, if people are like representing themselves in a way that is true to themselves, like they sort of, as a community, have learned over the years to sort of feel that out in others, and this group that they had run into, or that had run into them, didn't feel that way.
Mm, okay.
Perhaps there are reasons that folks wear masks, is kind of maybe the gist of that whole thing. um, and so when you see that, it brings your mind to that moment. Um, in the ring, as the announcer steps in and calls everybody to pay attention his way, he kind of turns and looks around over the crowd and then up to those watching from above. Well, this certainly is a wonderful place to hold a bit of a spar, isn't it, folks? Uh, much thanks to our friends at the Heavenly Sequence Engines for allowing us this lovely space. There's a smattering of applause. Now, I would like to introduce to you two fighters for the first bout of the day. Introducing once again to everybody, uh, Flint Corbett.
He does his intro. He nods as you said that right, and then he does his little, like, gets in the ring, waves his hand, sets his right hand glove on fire, does a few waves, few moves, lights a cigar, and then turns it off in his by punching it in his other hand, and then puts
Ah,
the cigar
it's
away.
That's pretty amazing. The Clockwork Brawler, if you will, everybody. Though no clockworks allowed in this match today. And we will also then introduce the opponent, hailing from Edavund, where there are perhaps Dragonborn from Edavund, Zane Johnson, or The Rock. And again, there's a smattering of applause as
I
Perunyia is
also
introduced.
go out, but I don't have his cool tricks, and I'm like annoyed that I didn't plan to do a cool trick. And so I already like, I really need to get this going. Just go out and walk around the ring. And of course, nod to my opponent. And I know I will be shaking his hand in a moment. And I advance to my corner.
As you're advancing to your corner, you see Phoebe there. She she's got some sort of, looks like a little ball of something in her hand. and she goes, "Here, kick that!" And she just throws it in your direction.
I kick it.
Give me an attack roll for your unarmed attack.
Yeah.
You just need to not fail miserably.
I
You just
mean,
need a 10 to get it.
okay. A regular there's my unarmed combat. Sorry. All right.
It's a good thing you're good at that. That 7 is scary. You kick it, and it's like it just explodes out. It's like a really thin clay or sort of paper mache maybe, and explodes out, and it's filled with confetti. Um, and it sprays confetti out over everybody, and Phoebe's just like,
Laugh and I'm like, thanks, baby. Also, like I know probably half the crowd is very annoyed to be covered in glitter right now, but we're not gonna worry about that.
yep. She was excited about it. She thought she did her homework.
Elio's so mad. She's doing the manager job so much better than he is right now. I am next to the ring, by the way.
All right. And yeah, you do notice that the gang is all here. So
Flint is gonna wave to everybody in the gang that he hasn't talked to yet, and then he's gonna stop at Rogelio and go like, and he's gonna lean and talk to someone next to him, like, what the fuck is that?
I probably should have warned Flint about Rogelio. That was an oversight on my part.
I
Yeah,
don't wave
Clement-
back because that's intimidating.
Clement just goes like, that's one of the Rock's like managers. The Rock has like 4 managers. I don't know. Like, who does that?
What the hell are they doing?
I don't know.
It's been a long couple of days, Brad, okay?
And with that, the announcer calls out, all right, everybody, this match is centered for 5 rounds. And let's go ahead and get it going. And with that, he kind of puts his hand down, and someone at the announcer's desk dings the bell as the announcer sort of steps back, letting the ref keep an eye on things. And so, what we're going to have each of you do, Alex, you're probably used to this by now, is you each get to roll your now, Flint.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to make a huge difference for you in this because I think that just the way you built your character. But if you want to roll your intelligence modifier with proficiency instead, but I think it comes out to the same as your athletics.
It comes out to the same. Is that usually when he uses his gadget, he can add both, but not this time. However, he's going to be using his combat maneuvers, which are not magic or anything like that.
Right. And to account for all of those things, I've gone ahead and added a total miscellaneous bonus.
Oh, okay, yeah,
to
I
your
can see it
athletics
right
check.
there.
So,
Perfect.
So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have each of you roll athletics.
And I've already got all my bonuses for the wonderful audience that I've got here, right?
Yes, those are all added in.
And before any brawling happens, I guess they do the thing where they meet in the middle of the ring and fist bump, like do the glove touch, and then step back a little bit and start the fight.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
All right. First round. That was really close.
Yeah, it was close.
All right. So Flint, how do you sort of open this round?
I guess he would Flint is a grappler, so he would probably try and close the distance very quick and try and like duck and weave to avoid the blows and try and grapple her to bring her to the ground and start waiting on her. But with those rolls, I doubt that's what's going to happen. So
All right. Well, Alex, describe what you do when Flint tries to kind of shoot in and take you to the ground.
So the good news about having previously fought with Flint is that I do know already that that is a style of attack that he prefers to open with. As he goes in for the grapple, she's going to duck under, and as she's ducking under, she's pulling his arm back. And while he's distracted with the arm, doesn't notice the carefully placed foot beneath his ankle. And so while he's trying to get out of the arm part, actually trips over the foot, which again, he'll be able to get up pretty quickly because he's not grappled. But it is the first point.
It is the first point, and everybody kind of claps politely. It's a very, especially compared to the rowdiness of some of the other locations. This is a very polite crowd today, and anyone who might not be inclined to be that way, they are, it's that thing where like if you go to someone's house and their house is a mess and they put their feet up on the coffee table, you might too. But if like everything's immaculate and like they sit all prim and proper, you wouldn't dream of putting your feet up on the coffee table, right? So similar sort of thing here. All right. With that, we'll get into round 2. Let's go ahead and get both of those rolls, please.
Also, we're using the same color die, which is hard to keep track of.
Right.
And you know what? I'm going to use, I was given an inspiration earlier, and since I'm being beaten by 1, I can't take that, so I'm going to use it and try and do better.
Okay.
All right.
And I don't think I did. Nope, I did not.
No.
God damn it. So, yeah.
All right,
I'm also just going to call out that you started using bennies before I did, so if this is where that goes, that's your fault.
I play this character once every 6 months. I'm going to use the thing I was given today, right?
Yep. All right, so go ahead and Flint, kind of describe how you're trying to recover from the previous point loss.
Well, after eating some sands, he tries to like get up and crawl and get her from behind the legs as she's standing over him and fling her in the sand and then fall back on her to regain control and keep the wrestling going. I guess he managed to at least trip her a little bit before she took over completely and made him eat more sand.
And how did you do that, Alex?
Yeah, so what I love about Flint's style, it's very different than a lot of the other fighters that I've had in this competition. And because I have previously lost to Flint in the past for our audience, I worked on my ground game with the orcs while I stayed with them. So now, as we're taken to the ground, I am down, but I managed to get the upper hand, and so I'm the one on top of this, and so I'm able to land a pretty good blow before disengaging.
All right, and then you hear a ding as the announcer calls, "Point, Zane Johnson." All right, well, this could be it. Let us get your athletics rolls once more.
Okay.
All right, come on.
Oh! Not over yet.
That's exciting. So for Perunyia, as Perunyia is kind of bouncing back from that, and the crowd is like clapping. How are you trying to clinch this for a 3-0?
Yeah, so I think the bigger mistake is that she got off of him and probably should have just stayed on that position of dominance where I had the upper hand. But because I was going back to the regular floor game versus the ground game, I think that's probably what got Flint to maybe do something that she wasn't expecting. And so she went in for a regular attack, so a very quick 1-2 punch. And we'll see what Flint did with it.
Well, Flint learned from from the beginning of this fight, where you countered him when he tried to get in with his own style of wrestling. So he deflects the first blow and then gets under her shoulder and judo throw her on the ground, and then makes sure as he's throwing her to like jump a little bit to fall like shoulder into her, get back on his knee, and then manage to nail her right in the dragon's snot with a good punch. While she's back on the ground, and he's now the one in control for a split second at least.
All right. There is a little bit of clapping at that, a couple of murmurs of approval, and the bell dings as the announcer goes, "Point, Flint. This is heating up, folks. Let's go ahead and make the next roll."
I can't perform any worse than that one, right? Okay.
Oh shit! I don't think I can beat that.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you would have had to. Do you have any?
I think I used the one that was given to me today, but I
You have
the other
two.
ones.
You have two more that you haven't used from long.
I mean, all right. If I can use one and make the fight last a little longer, I will.
Yeah. I mean, you got to get a nat 20.
Yeah.
So this is from a Voodoo Goth.
Oh, thank you, Voodoo God, but unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough. So,
yeah.
So I guess he was a little too like confident that he had gotten the upper hand back. He was like, "All right, I got her exactly where I want her. I just have to get a few nice blow in there, and the points are going to be rolling in." So he tries to do the like the mounting thing where he would like try to well on her again, but I guess she after the first hit, she moved her head right to the side. He punched the Sen, and then she locked his arm in place, and he knew right there and then that he was done.
Yeah,
All right.
so this is one of the ones it helps having a quite a bit of height because it's hard to keep exactly track of what my feet are doing. And so as this is going on, I'm able to do a move called the shrimp, where you're kind of picking up your legs and scooting out. And while doing that, of course, as before mentioned, was the arm bar grab. And so as the arm bar is going in, she's able to again focus his attention there while getting his feet stuck. And so as now he's fully wrapped up, she's able to deliver a very nice blow, which will be a hammer fist across his face.
All right. And that knocks him backwards and into the ground as the bell dings. Point 3 for Zane the Rock Johnson. And that is the win victory to the Dragonborn. As people are clapping and he comes in, the announcer comes in and holds that one arm up. Yeah, it's all very exciting. Just here in this beautiful garden, to see this quick display of violence, and everybody's really excited for that.
I'm already helping my friend Flint up, and I made sure that the last blow wasn't too painful. I pulled it back just enough where he's not going to have a huge black eye. It was more about getting the ding of the point versus injuring my friend. So I'm helping him out, and I'm giving him the hug with the extra pats as one does after fights.
Yeah, and he's doing like he's accepting the help, and he's smiling, and he's tapping you in the back too, and congratulating you about your win. It was very good. You got so much better. Nice.
Yeah, when Perunyia says that she's been practicing her ground game, we will point out that she did take the skilled feat to take expertise in athletics. So
wow,
and that's the majority of the difference in your bonuses is that.
I don't like getting beaten.
Well, I'm glad you could resolve that and finally beat him.
All right, folks, that's it for the moment, but don't go anywhere because we have the next fight coming up in just around half an hour. And of course, it is the fight that all of you have been waiting for.
That's a little bit insulting for us.
Yeah, right.
As the local favorite, Vivian Tarahal will be fighting the other fighter from Edivant, Russell Duchesne. What's going on in Edivant? What are they feeding everybody these days? And then he looks at Perunyia for a moment, and then he kind of like he has that look like, oh shit, did I just say something insulting? I don't know. Maybe I did.
Perunyia
Maybe I
laugh.
didn't. Anyway, so stick around for that, folks. And then some people kind of move off a little bit as you are given the opportunity to walk out of the ring.
Yeah, so I think that we would obviously he and I both said we want to watch the next match. So we would probably look for a good place to get a decent view without being, right up in their faces.
I send my homunculus to grab us some snacks and drinks with a little pouch of gold and a little paper note to with what we want.
Oh, you have such a good manager.
It's manager, like tapping mat, and all around useful little thing.
Danny, when Perunyia wins, can I actually just an attempt to up Phoebe? Can I cast the spell Skywrite and make the cloud shape that says Zane wins on the way to the top? Since it is an open roof stadium.
It's just a garden, so it's just you're out outdoors. Yes,
that's my only attempt. That's as soon as the winning point is heard.
That's awesome.
Okay. So as that happens, like no one even realizes it at first, and then Phoebe like grabs at we'll say Phoebe is grabbing at Panabon, and she points and she goes, look, as the skywriting happens, and it's just like clouds are forming into the words Zane wins.
Well, that's neat. I think everyone should look up into the sky. How neat is that?
And that sends like a ripple effect of people looking up into the sky.
That did it. That message.
That's a proud parent right there. Nice, Panabon.
Yes. Phoebe's like, I wonder how they did that.
We have a budget for that sort of thing. We have people.
That's very neat.
Yeah.
I'll have to remember that one. And she pulls out a little pad and she starts writing in it.
Yeah. Also, I have a question for you when we're done celebrating while we're waiting for things to die down.
Okay. So not right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can ask right now if you're. But it seems like it's a busy time for you. I can wait. I can wait a few minutes.
Well, no, I was just writing down that someone wrote Zane wins in the sky.
Yeah, it was super neat. So hey, I know that technically Lady Uskin is not in the winners bracket currently, and they kind of missed their fight. Did anyone like check in with them? Or are they just having like a diplomatic thing? Or they doing okay?
Oh, I don't know. I just know that she forfeited her last match, which she's out of the tournament now. I mean, that would be her second loss. So yeah, I don't know. Do you want me to look into that?
It's just I was real excited to go to that fight, and I didn't get to see, and so I was kind of bummed. So I just it's probably a diplomatic thing. It's fine. I was just curious if anybody had like gone to check.
I mean, she who knows? She kind of gave me the creeps a little bit, and she was like really scary. So probably a lot of people aren't really mad that she's gone. But I mean, I could ask around. I mean, somebody probably knows. I mean, she would have had a minder, just like I am for Zane. And the way she says Zane there is a little bit like, why did you say it that way, kind of thing. But yeah, it's all very very strange that she would have missed her fight.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's probably a diplomat thing. It's probably fine. Yeah.
I mean, was she diplomat? I mean, I just like the Battle of the Brawn is like a big deal, and so or at least maybe it's not as big deal like, as I think it is. It seems like a big deal to me.
I think it's a big deal. I just if you hear something, it's always just nice. I really liked her fighting style. So, if she's going to continue to do this or come back for the next year, that'd be something I would be interested to see more of her fights. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing more, even if she is a little bit creepy. But she was a really good fighter. Um, not as good as Zane. But yeah.
it's true, but who is as good as Zane? No one.
Well, look. And she looks around for where Perunia is to see if Perunia is anywhere around, and she's just like, listen, I really hope she wins, but um, Vivian is I mean she teaches the whole army, like,
Ooh.
so I don't know. I mean, I really hope Zane wins. I just don't know that that's gonna happen. But don't tell her I said that. I'm gonna I'm gonna cheer for her the whole way. So
Yeah, Zane really likes the challenge. Like it's about the fighting as much as the winning. So like I think it's gonna be a record match, when it happens. And
yeah,
I'm rooting for Zane all the way. So I'm all in on Zane, as they say.
Zane all the way. I don't know.
Zane all the way.
Um, I'll work on that. And she pulls her pad back out and kind of starts writing
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
While they're having their conversation, I would take the opportunity to introduce Flint to Rogelio and to Lex, which I don't know if Lex has a chance to meet Flint either, because I think she joined us on the train. And then, of course, our friend Drusilla as well.
Is Flint's little robot there?
Hmm?
Didn't you have like a little homunculus robot
Yeah,
or something like that?
I did.
Is it there?
I
It
think
went to go get ramen.
yeah, or something like that.
Gotcha.
But he's obviously is like is the bracers. He's wearing like a bomber jacket like that's armored, and his bracers are covered in gadgets and doodad and cables. There's some running up his arm and connecting to like pipes at the back of his jacket. There's gears and like an armature around his leg and his knee pads and stuff. So he's obviously a mechanically inclined kind of guy, even without the flying robot. But yes, he seems very interested in talking to you, Leo. He's like, "What is this? That's not an armor. What? Who or what are you?"
Rogelio.
Nice to meet you, Leo. That's a interesting name and an interesting armor.
Of
Yeah.
course. And where did your interesting armored fellow go off to?
Oh, the homunculus. Just I think outside there was a stand that sold like drinks and stuff. It should be back in a few.
Oh, that's crazy. I was actually just gonna go get a drink for Zane. So I'm gonna go do that real quick, and then I go off to the drink stand.
Are you looking for the homunculus?
I love Rogelio so much.
It was a big 20-second fight. You dehydrated probably.
You were
Just
in
trying
charge
to-
of water, so I
Just
mean,
trying to be a
that's
good
fair.
manager.
As this is kind of going on, you look up to see if Callus is kind of walking through the crowd, and as she gets to the group, is Shayloon with everybody else at this point?
Yeah, I would have been, and cheering louder than I normally do. Usually I'm a polite cheerer, but I know that winning means more spells. I'm very excited. Also, I'm really happy to see Flint. And actually, when I do see Flint, I will go hug his legs.
Does Shayloon blush it off, just so the audience can have a clear visual here?
No, not for... No?
No? I believe that Shayloon has a crush on Flint.
Have you experienced my previous disinterest in Flint?
Yes. Yeah, so Shayloon gives Flint's leg a big hug.
Oh,
which
hi.
is a little odd.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I don't know what to call you anymore. He says, looking around and noticing that people have around him have strange names now.
Still Lampira. But
Oh yeah.
But it's good to see you, and we should talk when we have a moment.
In front, like, yeah, sure. Whenever you. It's not like I'm gonna be busy after today. He yells about his Perunyia a little bit. So yeah, I had my stuff booked for another few days, so I'll be around. We can arrange something.
Right.
Yeah, and you're still in the tournament, Flint.
Oh right, that's true. There's the
win.
losers bracket, yeah.
So, yeah. So as this is going on, you do notice Callus is coming through, and she pauses and Shayloon.
Hi, Callus.
Yeah. So Nugatsu was talking to the CEO of Heavenly Sequence, and well, he said that he would really like to meet you.
What is a heavenly sequence, and what's with the mask, and am I in trouble?
I would not imagine. I mean, not so. So Heavenly Sequence is just like it's the big. It's this like Starike of Denang, yeah. And of course, Starike is like the big energy engineering kind of corporation in Ireland. It's the they don't call them a CEO over there. They call them Sunstars. I don't know what that's about. But he's one of the Jean, the sort of the nobility of Denang, you know.
Do we like him? Them? Her?
Him or them, I guess. Well, today, yes. It's a complicated thing.
I don't like that answer.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but it's neat that he wants to see you.
Why would he want to see me?
Well, you and whoever else wants to come with you from the group. I think it would be good for all of you to come. But he was talking to Nagatsa about some stuff, and they just got talking about various things, and he said it would be very interesting to meet with you. I think it has to do with among other things, maybe just like your like magical skills and stuff. Because
are they magic?
Well, I mean, not any more magic than you and I guess on a like potential level, but the Jean have really made strides in magical development and
research?
Research and studies. Yes.
That's the magic word.
Yeah.
Magic. I thought that was funny.
I want to go meet the magic research person. Does anyone want to come?
I think that I'll wait here for Rogelio. I don't know if we want the CEO to have Rogelio on his radar, their radar.
I mean,
So, I mean, if they were up there, they probably saw him.
Oh, they know all. They know all about him.
I mean, you got to designed him, so. But
I think if we're gonna go, we should maybe all go together. You never know.
Yeah. You guys, you could watch the next fight from up there. I mean,
neat.
That could be fun.
I bet the view's really good. It's hard to see down here when someone tall sits in front of me. It's really hard to see what's going on. I sometimes cast a little levitate spell so that I can get it's like a boost to see.
I wish I had spell slot to waste like that.
the squeal of neat at the prospect of having a better vantage point to see a fight,
Oh, we're very suspicious of this. Yeah, for sure.
I passed a note to Drew, just very hastily scrawled, that just says "Be on your guard."
Can we do another perception? Because if you keep passing notes in front of me, we're gonna have a conversation of.
I'm not in front of you right now.
We're literally standing all talking together.
But I'm like on the side. I'm like right. I'm like right.
Are you sneakily passing a note, or are you just passing it in the open?
I mean, in so much as Panabon is sneaky, I suppose it's sneaky passing. Like I trust other people in masks as far as I can throw them. So
yeah, those people in masks are super shady.
Yeah, I know, right? It's super inconvenient.
Panabon would know.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Ah!
Oh, yeah, 20.
So, this is a skill check, Panabon. So if you're being sneaky about it, you can make a sleight of hand still.
I'm supposed to be terrible at perception, and yet whenever you pass notes, you must be like super like folding paper up so loudly.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
So, you do note.
I legitimately didn't expect that. That's great.
You do note that there is some note passing going on. It doesn't. It's hard to say if it has anything to do with what's going on right now. It's just Panabon giving a note over to Drew.
Do I see that Shaylun notices this?
Everyone make a perception.
You see that Shaylun notices. You can make an insight check if you want. Real quick.
If I notice that she notices, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna look at the note and then pass it to Shaylun.
That's fine.
I'm not being secretive about my narrowed eyes.
Drusilla will look at it and then like see that Shaylun kind of notices, and then she just immediately hands it to Shaylun.
The note says, "Beware of masked people."
Actually, the note just says "Be on your guard," which is probably wise no matter what. But
yeah, that's not. I'm starting to wonder if Panabon has a code or something with Drew, because like that's not something that we're always on our stupid guard.
Speak for yourself. I'm very, very.
What do you mean we're always on our guard? You're always on our guard.
I
yes.
remember being invisible in a basket of a camel while somebody had trouble getting on said camel as we were trying to leave Merakadashta. If I remember, it took like 5
Why do
rolls.
you
and
guys
20
call me
minutes.
out like that? I'm not saying it. I'm not saying anything over here.
Alex is like, this is not me.
Not me.
All right. Well, with that, I crumple the paper and in my hand and start and gesture for Callus to lead me, and whoever comes, great, and whoever doesn't, fine.
I would incline my head towards Flint. Do you want to go with him? I said we'd watch his match together. I'm happy to watch it up there with you or down here with you.
Do you have a crush on Flint?
I have
okay.
other interests. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Are we expecting business? Like, should I go switch from my sports glove to serious gloves?
By the way, I just had a flash of Full House when the little woodchuck puppet goes, "Did you say wood?"
Expecting business is never a bad idea. I don't have my full pack though either, so if we run into trouble, might be good if you had yours.
Right. I'll you can give me a minute. I'll go get my my other gloves and maybe pick up your friend, your armored friend, and Pierre back at the stand.
That sounds perfect. I'll wait for you at the entrance so they know to let you in.
Actually, as this is going on, Rogelio, you are going to get a drink. And as you're heading over to get the drink, you do see the homunculus kind of flying back over, carrying a like paper bag in its like feet as it flies back in the other direction.
Oh, okay. Can I like wave it down? Wait, it's flying? Is it a humanoid shape?
It's
No, not really.
I thought you said it has arms and
semi-humanoid shape.
legs.
Yeah, it's a sphere with like arms on the side and legs and little wings. Like wings that just like wave super fast and move super fast and keep it like hovering.
Gotcha.
It has like what looks like a camera, like reticle at the front that like change size as it's looking around.
All right. Oh,
So you can, if you wave at it, it's just gonna look at you and stop a little bit midair and turn.
gotcha. So Rogelio originally went after this little machine because of the semi-beaten and fragile state that it looked like it was in from your description earlier. So I want to like wave it down and I want to ask it if it speaks.
So as you wave at it, it doesn't really like it notices you and it kind of pauses to take note, but then it just kind of continues on.
All right, I gotta walk with it then.
All right. You walk with it and eventually you arrive to where Flint is gathering all of his things as it lands.
Exchanging his like leather gloves to leather gloves with like metal plating on the knuckles, and he's plugging wires from the gloves to his bracers, and he's putting like kind of a crystal in a tube in a slot on the side of his legs, and you can hear like something is powering on. Yeah, he's fiddling with stuff.
So on the walk back, I wanted to ask it a question, and you said it doesn't like speak, right?
It doesn't stop. It's just like kind of flying forward. So
But
you
does
might
it respond to me if I ask that question while we're walking back?
No.
Ah, okay. Then I want to cast the spell Speak with Machines, and I want to try to communicate with it.
Nice.
Okay.
Or just communicating in like, I don't know, gasket sounds. I'm not too sure.
It has 10
dial-up tone.
it has 10 intelligence, so it can like have a conversation.
Yeah, and so as you cast speak with machines, and it's kind of getting there, you're asking. So, what do you ask as you?
I want to
and-
ask it if this Flint guy is like a friend to machines, or if he's more of someone who uses them for his own, his own purposes.
I will allow Flint to answer in the as the homunculus.
I'd say it would say he's friendly, but training is hard sometimes. We work to get better by training, and sometimes it's hard. But he's not hill meaning.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm so glad you added that second part, because the next question was going to be like, do you need help? But
training is so hard.
I was like, you didn't get back fast enough. Clips his wing. Like, oh man. Okay. Well, as we were going back, then I also told Perunyia I'd get them a drink, so I have to turn back around and go get a drink somehow, which I don't have money. So I'm going to go back to Perunyia and say they were out of drinks.
Okay. As you arrive to Perunyia and everyone seems to be gathering, you notice Callus is there from the last time you saw Callus was earlier today. And she looks up. Oh, good. Drinks? They're out of drinks?
They were out of free drinks. I don't have any money.
There should be refreshments upstairs.
Oh, perfect. Let's go upstairs.
Yes. Okay. And you give another few moments for Flint to arrive. Now, when you say, Perunyia, that you don't have like your kit, are you saying that you leave all of your gear at the hotel room?
So, actually, I've been leaving it in the locker but like we're not in a like locker setup. So I guess maybe Phoebe would have put it with my the whatever the same thing that Flint had to do with like up front.
Mhm.
But I gave it to Phoebe, so I don't exactly know where it is. So I would have to ask her for it.
Oh, okay. Well, are you asking for it?
I am gonna, because now Flint's gonna get his stuff. Like I have to.
All
I
right.
can't let him look cool and me not. So.
Well, luckily that's in the direction you're walking anyway. And as you get there, Phoebe asks for your equipment, and then when she gets to you, she's just like, "I'll carry it." Very much in the sense of, I don't know if I'm invited along with the rest of you, but I'm with them this as much as I can.
I'm totally good with that. I really have taken a liking to Phoebe.
So she just kind of follows, like holding your gear, and Callus takes you inside. You go down, and you're walking in a hallway that's kind of around the perimeter of the building, and you can see the interior of the building is wide open. There's no floors separating from the floor to the ceiling. It seems like all of the levels where people can be that aren't this like work area, it's like all mezzanine levels, so everything kind of like overlooks. And she takes you to the center of this side hallway, and there's an elevator there, and she enters the elevator along with the rest of you. There is a lot of different things being worked on in this open area. Lots of various pieces of machinery. You can recognize some things look like they're going to be engines. You can see things that look like various automatons of varying shapes and looks like uses. There's some that have sort of like humanoid shapes. There's some that are just like large tractors. There is a section where there's a lot of light, and for those of you who've been kind of paying attention to it, which is a lot of you really, is you can see like the telltale glow of Mizores um, over there in that section as she takes you into the elevator, and the elevator goes up to the top floor. And this opens directly into a very beautifully appointed, luxurious to the point of just kind of overly exorbitant. Um, there is a lot of silk, a lot of color here. There's like gold filigree over a lot of the furniture that's all very plush and very nice. There are several people up here, and they're all kind of talking in their like respective circles. And you notice that there is a door at the far end, and guarding this door are two individuals. These individuals are also masked. And for Lex, these individuals, their dress and their mask is exactly the same as a majority of those who had visited when you were still living in the Shadow Fae. There were others that were dressed differently from these, but these ones are dressed the same. And they have armored breastplates. They have like a cloak that seems attached to it, and very like sort of flowing clothing over their arms that comes down to about halfway down their forearm. They're fully masked. They have wigs. Again, these are they're sort of purplish hued wigs that have kind of the hair pulled out to the side in almost a ponytail or pigtails that then go down the side. And they're just kind of standing there at attention with each of them have a halberd that is a little bit oddly shaped. It's not the standard sort of halberd shape. It looks a little bit different. And they're just kind of standing there staring directly ahead. You notice there are a few other folks that look like their job is security, kind of standing around as well. And Nugatsa kind of extracts himself from one of the groups. Oh, that's great, excellent. Yes, the Sunstar was hoping to meet with you, Shailun, and with everybody else. He does. He is fully aware of Rogelio. Everything there is fine. But yes, I thought it would be a good opportunity for you and for everybody else to kind of meet him and see what that's all about. And maybe, if you had some questions for him, he might be a good person to ask. And if you do have questions, you'll realize it kind of in talking to him, I think. It's not often that one has an opportunity to speak with.
Oh no!
No!
Oh,
We will never have the opportunity to speak with the strange masked person.
Oh
You
no.
already know one strange max person. You don't need another one.
Ah.
Quota is filled.
whole people of them.
I mean, when the guy says like she knows about Rogelio, they know about Rogelio, and everything is fine, Finn's gonna turn to Rogelio and go like, "What's the deal with Aurelio?"
I'm so confused. I lean over to Perunia and I'm like, I thought we were coming up here for drinks. Like, are you getting a sponsorship?
I actually lean
No.
over to Perunia on the other side and go, I think Aegis' shield was so much cooler than this.
Yeah, it was. No, I mean, they want to see Lampira, but like apparently we all got invited up, and the rest of us are gonna take advantage of the view and the free drinks. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Just
So, I
realized
guess-
it was never explained to me at all.
Nope.
No,
It's
it was
like,
not.
we're going
It was
upstairs for
not at
drinks.
all.
I'm like, cool. Because
There's,
I don't have
there's
money.
a lot of security around the drinks.
I'm sure
Yeah, I was like,
none
wow.
of this is poison. I'm sure none of it is poison.
Halberd
I'm sure
guarded
it's all
drinks.
fine. They're exceptional drinks.
It's like when you get ramen and there's gold flakes in it.
Uh-huh.
Very expensive drinks.
Wait,
Okay.
why would you want ramen with gold flakes?
So
Gold flakes
Oh,
don't
golden
taste of
schlager.
anything. What's-
so I've turned on my camera, but
gold
I'm
flakes
not
don't
going
taste
to
of anything.
actually.
It doesn't add anything to ramen. Ramen's all broth, or it should be.
Are you there, Danny?
I am. So I'm going to. I've turned on my camera, but I'm not.
Margaret.
So I've turned on my camera, and I'm not actually going to get in front of my camera because I actually have to hook everything up. So I have the virtual camera on, so that everybody should be in their right places on Twitch
Yep.
at least.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to bother.
I
with that
cast
right now.
invisibility on God.
All right. It's done this like once every several days or whatever. So I don't know that it's done it 4 times. Like I'm going to have to look into this. Anyway, all right. So, as Nugatsa approaches, and he says all that. So, if you're ready to see him, it is him, they, them, if you like, as well. That usually works for almost anybody in Jean, in the Jean culture, if you will. So, yes, well,
Where are the Johnny from?
the Jean, just Jean. They're the nobility of Daenon. The
Oh,
emperor of
okay.
Daenon is
Okay.
Jean.
So I would know this because I'm from Daenon. Or no, I'm not.
You're from Desaren.
Disaren. Sorry, I'm getting my D's.
Daenong is where Aegis is from.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Danny.
Yes.
Is Thanato nervous?
Make an insight check. You don't
I'll have to get back to
grounds
fantasy
yet.
grounds, but
So,
like,
if you wanted to roll just a d20, you could do that as well.
Yeah, this is
If you
a
had
lot
one.
of exposition for Nugatsa for
he also just sounds. Yeah, something about this is.
You gonna roll it in the chat?
I got a 14. I rolled it on Google.
Oh, there you go.
You rolled a 14. That was the natural roll?
Yep.
Okay, so
And that happens.
Was that the
Motorcycle didn't
homunculus?
qualify.
yes.
Yes, it was.
Training is very hard for him.
Yep. There's no reason anyone should drive that fast outside of my apartment, but there you go. So he's nervous in the way that, like, so to you, Nagatsa is sort of a celebrity, right? To Nagatsa is Nagatsa. Like, that's how it kind of can be sometimes. And when you're like, especially if you're not like super self-aware of that. And so what's going on here, you feel like, is the nervousness of someone who is somewhat a celebrity stature or of a certain level of prestige that Nugatsa is concerned with. So, like, yes, he's got some anxiety surrounding this. It doesn't seem like it's fear-based anxiety.
Oh man, he definitely thinks we're gonna embarrass him.
To be fair of our track record, though, I mean, let's.
He's probably not wrong.
Right? I'm also nervous about it now.
It could be a little bit of that. So with that, he leads you into the room. As he approaches, he kind of nods to the guards. Their masks over their eyes, it's like a black mesh. So it's like the kind of thing where because it's so close to their eyes, they can see out of it, but you can't really see behind it. You can kind of see a little bit of like a glint of reflection of light off their eyes. You can kind of tell that their eyes are under there, but they don't don't move really, and the Gatsa sort of like takes that lack of response as permission, and he pushes the door open and walks inside with the group of you. Sitting at a desk is this person who is in the blues with the blue wig and the mask, and they stand up as you all enter. And once everybody is inside, you notice that there's a grouping of chairs kind of around the desk. It looks a little cramped, like normally it doesn't have this many people in the room. There's a larger sort of coffee table deal in the middle, but then between every other set of chairs is like another small table, so that everyone has one kind of between them.
I'll do the like as everyone's gathering in, I'll go into super friendly kind of nervous mode where I hello, and I'll start walking up to them with a handout.
As you approach with your hand out, he extends his hand, but as he's extending his hand, you see he takes his left hand and actually like places it underneath his wrist to take your hand. And so it's a standard, like he's shaking your hand, he's just doing it with like both hands kind of together, right?
Okay.
And he nods and he says, "It is good to meet you, Shaylun." Yes?
My eyes kind of get wide and flick to Nagatsa before I go,
He nods a little.
Yes, and do I remember this guy? What's this guy's name?
You don't. You just heard him referenced as the CEO or the Sunstar.
I'll say, I'll just try to cover for that with my social awkwardness and go, yes, and very nice to meet you, sir.
As he lets go of your hand, he takes a step back and he says, "First and foremost, I would like to extend to you and to you all," and he kind of waves a hand at the group, "my deepest and sincerest apology for the misunderstanding on the train some days back. My assistant," and with that he kind of gestures to the right, and stepping out, not hidden but kind of out of the way, and in a way that you didn't notice him as you stepped into the room right away, because just the focus being on everything in the middle, you see the man that was on the airship that you launched a fireball at. He is dressed in a suit. His hair, he was like very disheveled when he was on the airship, but here his hair is like neatly combed down. He's very well groomed. And he just kind of steps out silently with his hands clasped in front of him, and his head is bowed slightly.
Can I use my non-existent sleight of hand skills to grab one of my beads, just so I have it ready if I need to? It's like the poof of smoke disappear thing, except much more explosive.
So I imagine you kind of throw your hands into like your pockets nervously, and then you have it, but like what's in your pocket, who knows?
Yeah, okay.
Right? Sure.
Okay.
This is, as I said, my assistant, Kang Hijeto. And as I said, please do accept my sincerest apologies. I hear that you are a practitioner of the arts, and quite accomplished.
I just keep looking from between the two. I don't know what to say at this point. Like,
Yeah, Perunyia jumps in. Yes, she is. She's really, I mean, I think the foremost magic user and definitely in well, Dissarin, for sure. But in many places too, I bet.
If it
just said where I'm from.
You know, that's what happens when you don't talk.
if it would be all right, I would wish to offer you a gift, a physical symbol of my sorrow at all of this.
I mean, we all lived.
You feel a little tap on your shoulder, like just like the lightest, most politest tap on your shoulder, Shailene, kind of like gear you into a response, or
I do the turn of like
it's Nagatsa, and he just kind of looks and he kind of just gives you a little nod.
Can we start with what that was all about? I mean, several of us could have died all because of what we presume at this point to be theft of Rogelio.
Yes, that it would have been. And those were the risks that you were placed under. And as the Sun Star, it is my duty to bear responsibility for all that occurred at the time.
Why?
So
Why did it happen? Why were you trying to steal him? Forgive me if I'm being rude, but seeing as our lives were in danger, I'd like to have a frank discussion about it. If we're to move past this.
And you deserve no less. He turns to the man. Kong, that will be all. And he just kind of nods, and the man nods back, turns to all of you, and kind of gives a little nod. And then...
What's his expression like? Like, can I do an insight check? Like, is he like... Because if he's got like a little smirky smirk, then I know I need to blow him up later.
Make an insight check.
Okay. Oh.
True kind of moves to stand in front of Rogelio like she's protecting her nephew.
Yeah, Rogelio's just very on guard since he saw Khan.
Yep. So Shailene rolls a 2, and I'm sure I have my wonderful charisma skills, which are non-existent. So.
Well, I'm also gonna try rolling too.
Insight is wisdom, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
I guess that makes sense. I was thinking reading people, but it's trying to load. Still, it's not going to be high.
I've got a 15. But that's a 12 plus my 3 charisma. If that gets it there.
For Shailene, his face is unreadable. It's definitely not any sort of smirk, or it's like just this completely neutral, like straight-lipped, like eyes ahead, very business. For Perunyia, you've seen this sort of expression before. It's the expression that people have when they know that to express anything is dangerous, right?
Got it.
It's that sort of thing. It's like, it's like, you're military. It's the expression where you like fucked up and you've been called into the commander's office.
Yep.
It's
React not at
like,
all.
it's just that, yeah, like nothing's funny. You're not sad. You're not like, you're just straight. And so, and then he just kind of walks directly to the door. The Sunstar looks and says, please take seats. And we will speak and I will answer your questions frankly. And then he takes his own seat.
I nod and I'll sit, but like very on the edge of seat. Like
I try to maneuver it because the seats are two apiece with the table in between them, right?
So it's like chair, table, chair, like, so it alternates between the chairs, space, or table.
Okay.
Flint is gonna.
So you can either sit with a space between you and the other person, or with a table between you and the other person.
I'm just trying to make sure. So I don't know why Panabon wants to do this. Panabon's trying to maneuver it so that Drew is close to Shaylun in case something bad happens.
Okay.
But I don't know quite to maneuver that. It doesn't seem prudent to pass a note at this moment in time. So I'm just trying to like body language maneuver. I'm just trying to body language maneuver so that Drew gets the general idea of what I'm going for, or like so I'm sitting in a chair that will force Drew to take a certain seat.
Panabon can be taught, just like the man with his expression of no expression. Panabon's like, now it's not the time for
out of this room. So I'm trying to give us the best chance because I don't think we're making it out of this room.
Now it's not the time for notes.
Can I sit as close to the Sunstar as appropriately possible?
Yeah, so you just sit on the other end. So Nugatsu is sitting on the closest spot on the other side, and then maybe Shaylun next.
I sit next to Grandpa then.
And he nods. So, without context, the assignment was to retrieve the information on Nugatsu's studies, experiments, and innovations, to return them to us so that we could then do our own research and perhaps.
As a Sunstar, I'm sure assets are not limited. So why not barter with Nugatsu directly to either buy the research or hire better researchers?
That was attempted. He looks to Nugatsu, who does nod. However, at the time, those requests were rebuffed. And so, the decision was made to attempt to recover Nugatsu's work.
Through petty theft.
Through petty theft, as you say. Nugatsu speaks up at this point. So, the Sunstar's agents are expected, of course, to, operate without needing to check in for every decision they make. They are given latitude to make decisions. And so in this case, and the Sunstar sort of interrupts at that point. Yes, however, regardless, the fault and responsibility lie with me. I will not excuse myself by laying the blame at a subordinate.
On our walk in here, we saw lots of robot people. I don't know if Shay knows the word automaton, so so it seems that your research has caught up to a level already. So what is it that you and your company or your company plan to do with this type of technology?
Heavenly sequences, heavy industries, engines mostly, engines and power. So our hopes are to be able to design machines that will be able to undertake a variety of tasks. But that's not.
Did we lose Danny again?
I think we lost Danny again.
I think so.
Well, I am going to have many questions anyway, and seeing as it is 10:43 here in Eastern Time Zone, we will pick it back up next week. Thank you all for joining us and tuning in. Please don't forget to join our Discord server. We have tons of casting calls. If you want to come play with us, you are welcome to. And don't forget as well, I dropped the link in the chat to support our Black creator this month for Black History Month. So please go check out the Kickstarter. Danny himself has done a review that is on the Kickstarter page of the book, and support nerdy creators of minority diversity. I'm not wordsing anymore. So anyway, thank you all so much for the support, and we will see you next week like clockwork.
Good night, universe.